Well, Jonathan, obviously, playing Air Force and then, being the last regular season game and, and having so much riding on it. What does that mean for you guys to just, be in this situation?
It's a great challenge for us, man. We just got to get out there and do what we got to do, man. Prepare, have a great week of practice, and go out there and give it all.
It seems like a challenge, particularly for the defensive backs. In the last couple of years, they've actually beaten you guys a little bit with the pass, the triple option. What is it about defending that and for you guys as defensive backs and be ready for
It's not your typical offense, so it just tests you. You got to play discipline, play with great eyes. You just got to be a disciplined team when it comes to that, especially in the secondary, because you can't give them anything easy. So you just got to get out there and do your job.
2 years in a row? That doesn't happen around here very often, where teams get you guys 2 years in a row, let alone one. Is that how motivated are you guys? I guess after the last couple of years.
Yeah, they've had our number. They've beat us 2 years in a row, so we can't say anything until we beat them. We just got to get out there and do our job and do what we need to do.
How does their offense compare with New Mexico's offense? Is it different, the same, some similarities?
T-bone triple option, it's pretty similar. But what both of those teams do is they do a good job at being physical. That's one thing we got to harp on in practice this week, and being a physical football team, and we just got to get out there and do our jobs.
You guys don't ever look ahead, but in the back of your minds, Air Force, every time that name comes up, I'm sure it conjures up certain things for you. So how much did this team enter your mind during the season? Is this looking forward to this game at all?
I don't really look too forward in the beginning, to the end of the season. I just look 1 week at a time. So this week is Air Force, and that's what we're going to prepare for this week.
What's it like going into this week, not really controlling your own destiny at this point, and kind of still need some help here? What's it feeling like?
That's something I'm not really worried about. Every now and then you might think about it, but when you start thinking about the future and the week after the next week, that's when you get in trouble with the week at hand. So all we could do is control what we can control, and all we know is that we got Air Force this week, so that's what we need to prepare for.
How bad do you want another game on the blue as a senior?
It is what it is. It was a blessing to have my last game on the blue the other night. Friends and family came out to support me. I'm blessed and grateful for that, so we'll see what happens. All I'm focused on right now is getting ready for Air Force.
To have this game just be the last regular season one, does it put a little extra meaning for you guys? In considering that it is Air Force.
I guess you could say that, but at the end of the day, we treat every game the same. If you're not going out there with that mentality, then you're doing it wrong to start with. You can't look forward to it just being Air Force or just being the last game of the season. You got to go out there and give it your all every game.
What's the season been like for you? Obviously, you haven't gotten the pick yet, but you've got a ton of pass breakups, and I know probably wish some of those maybe returned any catches. But what has this season been like for you? How would you kind of assess it?
It's been ups and downs, but at the end of the day, I've been doing my job, so I'm happy with that. I can see my growth on the field, and I'm still learning more and more every single day. I promise. Every single game, I learn something new. So I'm just happy with the journey. It's great to see yourself getting better and continue to get better, and I'm continually striving to do better. So
I want to ask you about DeAndre, a guy who's obviously kind of stepped up and played quite a bit more as seasons progressed, and you were impressed with him early on. And what have you seen from him during the season?
DeAndre is a ball of energy. Reminds me of myself when I first came in. He plays hard, so it was good to see him finally get out there. He got a PVU, TFL. He did his thing. I was really happy for him.
What Brett was saying, the quarterbacks had the end of that game on in the room yesterday. Were you watching that Wyoming-San Diego State game or following the game?
Oh, no, I wasn't watching it at all. But it is what it is. I didn't want to watch it. I just rather see the result at the end. But we can't control what Wyoming does, San Diego State does. All we can control is what we do. And we just got to get ready for Air Force.
With that being said, I guess the fact that you guys lost to Wyoming, and that's why at this point they have the tiebreaker on you. Is that you have no one to blame but yourselves, I guess, for being in this spot at this point, or how do you?
We lost that game.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. We didn't play our best. Credit to Wyoming, they did their thing. They made plays. We didn't. So that's something we can't change that at this point. So all we could do now is go forward and focus on Air Force.
You play on the other side of the ball, but when you're on the sideline and you kind of see what McNichols is doing week in and week out, what depresses you most, and how much does that kind of catch your eye?
Persistence. I don't see it in just Jeremy. I see it in every single football player on the team. He gets the ball. He gets the status from it, and that's good. But when you're on a football team like this, it doesn't really matter who gets the status. We all know what everybody does. Everybody does their job. Everybody is the workhorse at their position. So that's one thing about playing for the Boise State Broncos. Everybody you might not get all the credit for it, but everybody knows that everybody's doing their job.
You talked about being disciplined against this type of offense. How hard is that, and can you practice that?
Yeah, you can practice it. You just got to get out there and have that mindset every day in practice. Get out there and be physical. Get ready for it.
What do you remember about that game 2 years ago over there? I remember you guys had a lot of injuries in the secondary, right?
Yeah, we did. I think I was a sophomore.
Yeah.
I think Dante was out. DT was also out.
Yeah.
I feel like we went hard, man. We went hard. It's just the game of football. It's funny how sometimes the ball rolls. You can't really control it. It's a game of momentum. I mean, but at the end of the day, they beat us and we lost, so we got to try to correct that.
Seems like you guys will again have a couple, guys out this week. Obviously, for sure, with Tanner and Joe and stuff like that. How's the defense kind of rolling with that sort of thing, and how do you feel like you guys are prepared to do that?
Man, we just got to pray for those guys. Pray they come back as fast as possible. Especially with those two guys, season-ending injuries. So, I mean, next man up mentality. Young guys have to step up, play hard, play ball, and get ready for it. It's going to be a physical game. We already know that. So we just got to be mentally prepared and go out there and give it our all.